What's going on, Pokemon trading card game fans? Welcome to episode 27 of the Special Conditions podcast, where our love for Pokemon and collecting collide. Today is March 5th, 2020. I'm one of your hosts, Adam Tuttle, joined by my co-host, Josh Brown. What's going on?
What's up, Adam? How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing absolutely fantastic.
Same.
It's been a phenomenal week.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're recording late, so, a week and a half.
Sure.
It's been a phenomenal week and a half.
It's been busy for us. We're a couple days later than we normally record, but you can't rush perfection, Adam. You
can't.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing Mewtwo, and then you can rush perfection because you can have it turn one. But
might be
but
the
on today's show
thing you've ever said on this show.
That is the dorkiest thing.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
But on today's show, I went to a tournament, guys. I went to a league challenge. So we have a tournament report. Pickups of the week. I went to PAX East, so I picked up a few cards.
Okay.
We have a question of the week. Hopefully Josh brings the heat.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have a card of the week is going to be Dangerous Drill from Team Up. And then we've got a listener email.
Ooh.
So
awesome.
We've got a jam-packed show today.
Mm-hmm.
So buckle up. Put on your safety helmets, safety goggles.
Let's do this.
And watch out for all those water energies or fire energies, depending on what neck of the woods you're in.
It sounds like more grass energy if we're talking about woods, but
Well, you never know. Could be
rock, maybe?
Could be fire, could be water,
ground, steel, the steel forest. That's weird.
Oh my goodness, can you imagine that? Just like the steel energies, just like make a wall around you. You're like, shoot, I'm stuck. I can't go anywhere.
Although that's what they use to cut down the trees and demolish the forest. So,
oh man, imagine. Oh man, we got to do some stop animation. Or somebody out there listening, you take a metal energy and you like do like a card toss where it's like sideways, like Gambit style.
Oh, sweet.
And it tosses, hits a tree, and then the whole tree comes down, but in like Pokemon leaf energies,
right?
And then they all just tumble to the ground.
Tree. No real.
Yeah,
trees.
No real trees, because Pokemon is already doing that job for you with the cards. So,
also, we need all the trees we can get in this.
Yes, planet. I would like to breathe fresh air.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway. All right, guys. Tournament report.
Yeah.
Tell me
about it.
Guys. So, I went to a tournament. I went to a league challenge.
Okay.
It was last Thursday.
Did you plan on doing this, or is it more impromptu? Like, is this something you had circled in your calendar? Like, I'm going to go crush.
I knew it was coming.
Okay.
And I had the day off. I was kind of sort of planning on it, but at the same time, I was like, I don't know. Because I don't want to force my son.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of was like, hey, there's a tournament. Do you want to go? And he's like, okay, I'll go. And so at that point, I kind of sat and, I just kind of because he had vacation, so he was home with me.
Okay.
So I kind of was in my zone for a little while. I took apart my Silvally and Blastoise deck and rebuilt Darkbox. And I can't tell you enough how many times I was like, this card doesn't belong. This card belongs. I need one of these, this, that, the other thing. And so many iterations. I just kept going back and forth. I'm like, do I need Naganadel? No, I don't. Do I need this? No, I don't. Do I need this? Do I need that? And it was a long process. I finally decided I'm going to add 2 of these cards. And we'll get to that shortly.
Okay.
But I get a call from my son's mother. She's going to take him for a little while. I was like, okay. I asked him if he's okay with that. He's cool with it.
Sure.
So I get to go to the tournament solo.
Okay.
I walk in.
I'm sure you would have wanted him there. It allows you to focus a little bit more.
Right.
Totally get it.
And so I sign up. And I'm filling out my deck list. The tournament, organizer, the guy who's, doing everything. Shout out to Fred.
What's up, Fred?
If you're listening. he's like, oh man, that's the best deck in format. Maybe it's not the best deck, but he's like, it's the most fun. And that just like, that hit home because I'm like, I do have a lot of fun when I play this deck.
Sure.
And that's my biggest thing. It's like, I like to have fun when I'm there. And if I can't have fun, why do it?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Right. Exactly.
That's some Ben and Jerry's stuff right there.
Nothing like Zen and ice cream combination to just make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
Exactly. And so I'm running Dark Box, and I put in 2 dangerous drills from Team Up.
Oh. Okay.
And now I'm going to kind of Weevil. I'm going to weave into the card of the week for just a second and just like say what the card does.
Mm-hmm.
It says you can play this card only if you discard a dark Pokemon card from your hand. Discard a Pokemon tool or special energy card attached to one of your opponent's Pokemon and discard it.
Okay.
And, well, I believe I think it's a stadium too. Hang on. Oh no. I'm pretty sure it's a stadium. Or any stadium card in play. Yeah, so it's basically, it can do a lot.
Okay.
So I put 2 of those in, and that's like my final answer. I'm like, that's my way around Aurora Energy. That's my way around Stealthy Hood, so I can get off Darkrai's Dark Moon GX and be able to knock a Mewtwo out or something. Mm-hmm. And I said to myself too, I was like, man, if Mewtwo's there, and like even if they have a weakness card energy, I was like, I could get rid of that and then one-shot them with my Mewtwo GX. So I tech in a Mewtwo GX. I put in my Zoroark Greninja GX, and I got 2 Darkrai and Umbreon GX tag teams, and I'm like, I'm ready to go. Like I felt it. But before I had left for the tournament, I was really down on myself. I was like, I don't know if I made the right decision. But round 1, I face a pretty much kind of like a structure deck. It was a Rillaboom and Vileplume deck.
Okay.
Now, Vileplume GX, heals 30 damage off of your active Pokemon once per turn. And Rillaboom allows you to search for the 2 grass and attach them to one of your Pokemon. Mm-hmm. It's single elimination. I pretty much just quickly get set up and kind of just roll through. And my funny story, my son actually is playing Rillaboom Vileplume GX.
Nice.
So I'm familiar, like almost very familiar with this matchup because I play it with him.
Yeah.
And so it was actually like, it was pretty easy.
There.
And we played a couple extra games after just to kind of, make it fun.
Practice.
Exactly.
See if it would work any other ways.
Yep. And she was able to get out the combo a couple times, so it was good.
Cool.
Round 2 happens. I'm facing a Malamar deck, and this scares the crap out of me because if they're playing the Mimikyu, that stops my abilities. And that right there kind of destroys me.
Right.
So we set up, and I knew that I had to play this flawlessly. And all my senses were like heightened. I was on some other level. And every single move that I made and every single move that my opponent made was perfectly executed. It was, if I did one thing wrong, he would capitalize on it. So he was like, placing damage counters with Giratina. He was using, I don't know what it is. It's the thing that has ear kinesis. I don't know what it's like. It's a cat. I can't think of the name. I'm spacing it.
Okay.
But it for 3 energies, it does 20 damage times the amount of damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon, like anywhere, and just does that much damage. So if there's 100, it's going to do 200 damage to it. So it pretty much, can hunt down GX and knock it out.
Right.
And so this thing scared the crap out of me. And then he was playing spell tags, but here I am. I've got the dangerous drills, both clutch times that he needed those spell tags to be able to knock anything out, I was able to dangerous drill and get rid of his spell tags.
Oh, cool.
And it was down to like, he had like 3 cards in deck. I had about 10. It was such an intense match. It was so close. It was prize for prize. It was like, I made one wrong move and I would have lost. But I was able to get out both dangerous drills and take the game.
Nice.
And round 3, I'm versing ADP, Arceus Dialga with Zacian.
Okay, thank you for clarifying, because definitely you can't just throw acronyms at me like that and expect me to know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so it's that tag team with the Zacian.
Okay.
And so he's playing Aurora Energies. He's playing the choice helmet or band, and that allows him to do an extra 10 damage. So when he uses his GX attack, Zacian's 220 becomes 250. Or no, yeah, 220, 30, 40, 50, 60. I don't know. I feel like I'm doing the math wrong here. But it allowed him to be able to one-shot my GXs. And, like no matter what I did, I was like, oh man, I got to stop this. I was able to knock out his Zacian after he took a 3-prize knockout. And I just kept using the dangerous drill to discard his Aurora Energy. He got another Aurora Energy out. He hit into me. I used Malolana, healed, and then was able to make a comeback because I basically just kept. I used the second dangerous drill. I think he was out of Aurora Energies at that point, and so he couldn't attack, and he was using his because he knew that he'd be able to attack me one last time with Arceus Dialga. So he was sending out Jirachis and hit me with Jirachis. And I was able to come up with my Guzzlord and knock out his Jirachi for the last 2 prizes. Because Guzzlord from, I believe it's Cosmic Eclipse, takes an additional prize card if I knock out a Pokemon.
Nice.
And I forgot to mention this in the last game, but that also, so the 2 dangerous drills and the Guzzlord won me both those matches.
Awesome.
And I got first place.
How about that?
And it was these 2 matches, those were excellent games.
Right.
I don't get shaky and I'm just talking about it. I'm I'm all jittery. It was so intense.
Yeah. Holy cow. So you're the champion.
Well, it was a league challenge.
Adam, do not downgrade this, buddy.
No, I know. I'm so pumped. I can't and I was so upset because that weekend there was a tournament on Saturday and a tournament on Sunday, but they were league cups. Oh. So they were intense, larger tournaments in my area. And when there's a double cup in the same area, that just makes for a larger turnout.
Yeah, a lot of people would travel to that, I would imagine, if there's multiple tournaments to go to.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I didn't feel confident in bringing my son with me because it's a larger tournament.
Yeah. A lot of people, a lot of things to consider.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's I'd rather it be at one of the smaller events and him being able to be in the same vicinity as me.
Right.
So I opted not to go, and then Sunday we went to PAX East.
How was that?
That was an absolute blast.
Yeah. So you took him too?
Yes. Yep. Awesome. And he was free because he's 6, so it's 6 and under free.
Sure. And
actually, it's you don't notice until you have your kid, but I saw tons of kids there.
Right. Yeah, I don't remember the PAX at Boston very well, but the few PAXs that I've been to up in Seattle here, plenty of kids all over the place. It's awesome.
Well, it was a blast, and I didn't stay for the whole thing because I did duck out and I went to do the Gengar and Nidorino raid day hours from 2 to 5.
I mean, you had to.
With Zoe Two Dots, Pokemon Master Holly, Mystic 7, and JT Gilly.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And they're all fantastic. They're all super nice, super kind.
That warms my heart, because I see that I'm like, I can be friends with those people. And then, at the same time, in the back of your head, you're like, man, but what if they're jerks,
No, they're so down to earth.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a breath of fresh air. It's like these people are just like us.
Yeah.
They're
genuine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't say enough nice things about the crew, so.
Sure. So you had fun playing with them?
I had fun.
Yeah, good.
But then here's the dilemma.
Oh, boy.
Because, here I am. I'm like hyped on the cards.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's like, what do I choose? Do I choose the card game or do I choose Pokemon Go?
Both.
It's so hard because there's a regionals, which is in standard format.
Uh-huh.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, no.
The same weekend that is the Philadelphia Safari Zone.
Oh, no.
And it's like they are so close.
Oh, man.
They are so close, and I just want to be at both, and I can't. I mean, technically, I just have to be there Saturday for the event, but it's like, if I did well, I don't want to stop doing well.
Right. Well, here's the thing, Adam. Some would look at this and say, God, I can't believe you have to choose between those two. Like, poor Adam. But at the same time, I look at like, man, you have two awesome things that you get to choose from to do that weekend. Either way, you're going to have a blast. And you have to look at it like that.
Yeah.
You can't look at what you're missing out on. You have to look at what you're actually going to be able to enjoy.
Yeah. And that's the problem, is that I would enjoy both of them,
and that's
equally.
But that's not a problem. I mean, listen to you right now. You're saying that's a problem. That's not a problem. A problem is, do I go to this prison over here, or do I go to this prison over here? Which of those two prisons do I get to go to? That's a problem, Adam.
This one has Jell-O, and this one has pudding.
You deciding on whether or not you go to this really cool Pokemon Go event, or you go to this big Pokemon TCG tournament. Those are
it's
problems.
like I haven't been to a regionals all year long.
Right.
Like, this is like, it's a big deal.
So go.
All right, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. That's May 8th through the 10th, or
all I'm saying,
like
Adam,
that.
either way, you can't look at it as if you're missing out on one of the things. You have to look at it as in you get to enjoy one of those things.
Perspective.
Yeah.
I love it.
I can't do
Thanks,
either
Josh.
one of them, Adam.
Well, you could.
Not as
Come
easily
hang
as
out.
you can.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. So 15 championship points in the bag.
Done.
I did a thing. I won.
Add it up.
And I've got a cool Frostmoth promo
Cool.
to show for it. It's my little trophy.
Yay.
All right, Josh, let's move on
Yes.
to pickup of the week.
Yeah.
Did you pick up anything?
Oh, I was going to ask you what you got at PAX East. You
Okay,
already brought
well-
up PAX East. You mentioned in the notes picking up some stuff at PAX East. So let's just keep this train rolling, Adam.
All right.
Yeah.
So secretly, I've been eyeballing some specific GXs
Mm-hmm.
that I was looking for, but I don't like waiting, and I don't like ordering one from one place and one from another. And
Right.
it's like, I like to get the best price. And there was two different vendors. There was Troll and Toad and then Cool Stuff Inc. I think that those are the two. Not sponsored or promoting. I'm just saying that they were there.
Yeah.
But I was able to pick up a hyper rare Zoroark and Greninja GX for that flex.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got a secret rare Red Balloon,
Oh, okay.
which was roughly $2 less than what I've seen it for. So
Sure.
I thought that was a good purchase.
And, I mean, I've never done either way, but I have to imagine being able to see it in person and purchase it in person is a
Yeah,
way
and just
better
know
experience.
if I want it, I could just walk away with it.
Yeah, than ordering online, sitting there waiting for it, hoping it doesn't get damaged in shipping and
Or
hoping,
lost.
or lost, or hoping it's the same card that you ordered, or all that nonsense. Like, yeah, that's you did the right thing there.
Yeah, and then I went to the next place and I found they had like this cool like printout of like a tablecloth of like all of the cards they have,
Mm-hmm.
and then they all had prices on them. And I just go, I want that one, and I want that one, and I got a few Lycanroc GX from, I believe it's Team Up, and then one Virizion GX because I need that for to play test with the Obstagoon deck.
Right.
But the Lycanroc GX is really cool because you play him down and you're allowed to discard an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon.
Okay.
Not that would be like super effective, but you could play that with some Zygarde, the dog form, which for 1 energy does 20, and then attach a fighting energy from your discard to one of your bench Pokemon, which you can use Lycanroc as your bench Pokemon to attach it to. So he's got energy acceleration, and then you can discard your opponent's energies, and then you can run it with a combination of like enhanced hammers and stuff. So, or not enhanced hammers, crushing hammers, which is just a coin flip to get rid of an energy.
Gotcha.
But just a little cheeky fun deck. I was thinking about.
Cool.
But yeah, that's what I picked up.
Nice. As far as I'm concerned, Adam, I haven't done much in the way of cards this last week. I've had a very busy week. It's been busy. It's been exhausting. I haven't done much with cards, but I couldn't just come to this podcast without anything. So I did swing by the old Target on my way home from work tonight, and I picked up a blister pack of the Shield and Sword cards. Blister, is that what it's called? With the 3-pack?
Yeah, blister pack, yep.
With the coin, and I got the...
Because if you think about a blister, it's kind of like a raised thing on your skin.
Sure.
And that's raised on the cardboard.
Seems like a stretch to me, but...
I've never even thought about that, but that's... You know what I mean? You have to like open it up
There's no
to get
way
into
that's
it.
why they call it that.
It's got to be.
No, there's no way.
If somebody knows that answer, please email us and like let us know.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong.
I want to know.
Yeah.
Or just text us or something.
I got the Galarian Ponyta box because it's such a pretty card. It comes with a code card also. D6T HKM9 BKP VQ4. So there's that.
And that's for the Galarian Ponyta promo.
Good luck.
So get on that.
Boom. There you go, folks. Also comes with this cool little coin. What is that? Gabite? Maybe?
I don't know. I can't see it.
It's the evolved
This is a
Gibble
podcast.
form.
I can't see it. Describe it.
Gibble. What does he evolve into? Gabite? Garchomp.
Gabite, Garchomp.
One of those two. Probably
Could
Garchomp.
it be a Haxorus?
No, I don't think so. Has the Gibble side head cannon things. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Okay. So it's probably Gabite or Garchomp.
Who knows?
Who
knows,
knows?
Adam? It's a audio podcast, like you said. 3 packs. Which one would you like me to open? I got a Snorlax, I got a Lapras, and I got a that's the shield guy.
Zamazenta. Open that one.
Okay. Boom. How about that? Opening packs. I think our next podcast, Adam, next week, whenever we get to recording it, I'm putting this in the ether now, so we have to stand by it. I think we need to cover upcoming products because there's some things coming out that we haven't talked about on this show yet that I think we need to cover.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
What do you mean? Well, you know what I mean.
What do you mean?
Rebel Clash, Adam.
Rebel Clash?
Yeah.
What's that?
Wait, you don't know?
No, I know. I've seen a lot of images floating around.
I'm like, wait a second. How do I know and you don't? Oh, he scared me.
Well, that's, people don't come here for the news. They're not like, oh,
No,
man,
I know, but
special conditions. They're going to let me know what's going to burn my wallet.
I want to talk about it. I'm just saying we haven't even mentioned it,
They're more like, I'm listening to that podcast because they're going to confuse me.
Yeah, that's definitely more likely.
Or poison me into listening to more episodes.
Or possibly put me to sleep. Code card KVRYJN9LWKMDN. Look at that. 2 code cards, 1 episode.
Yeah, I've been paralyzed by your code.
We got Psychic Energy. We have a Thwacky. We have a Lucky Egg.
That's Thwacky.
Dubwool. Galarian Meowth. Scorbunny. Sinistee. Maractus, the cactus. Pikachu. We have a reverse hollow Galarian Meowth. And a Dreadnought.
Oh, man, that sounds like another pack.
I do have another pack, Adam. Let's see. Lapras or
I know you have
Snorlax?
3. Yeah, you get to pick this next one.
Okay, let's do Lapras. I'm feeling Lapras. I'm feeling good about this one. Another code card? Sure, why not? GYV M49R 64B DWG.
DWG.
That's why people come as the code cards, I guarantee it. No, totally not. All right. Fire Energy. We have Evolution Incense, Vitality Band, Haunter, Chinchou, Krogunk, another Galarian Meowth, another Scorbunny, another Sinistee, Reverse Hollow Nickit, and ooh, buddy. Ooh,
and you got
buddy.
a hollow Cinderace.
No, Adam. We have
Because that's what it sounded like.
a Torkoal V.
Oh, Torkoal V. Okay.
Full art.
Full art?
Full
oh my god.
art.
That's
is
sexy.
So pretty. The purple background with like the fire spinning around it. Oh, this is a rad card.
That's cool.
Lapras came through in the clutch, my man.
All right, we got something. We pulled something good.
We pulled it. I gotta stop there. I can't beat that right now. So that's my pull of the week, Adam. Torkoal V full art from Shield and Sword.
All right, that works.
Yeah,
I'm cool with that.
cool. I'm sorry I didn't have more for you. Maybe next week. We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We might have a special guest next week.
Oh, well, you never know. I'm just saying,
Spoilers.
I might be able to tell you about something that I pulled in this coming week. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you better. All right, guys. What was that?
Oh, I was going to say I have a question for you.
Oh, okay, I was going to say, we're going to move on to question of the week.
You weren't setting up, so I figured I'd do it myself, Adam.
Well, I have in the notes, I said, hit me with your best shot.
Yeah.
As like that song's playing.
Right.
Hit me with your best shot.
Yeah, except we don't want like a copyright strike or anything, so.
Oh.
Yeah. Kid would probably appreciate us not getting sued over copyright material. But here's my question, Adam. Can you tell me about like cheating in the Pokemon TCG world? Does it happen? How often does it happen? What happens if it does happen?
Yeah.
How does it happen? Like, yeah. Like, I want to know how possible is it? How common it is? That kind of stuff.
It's very possible.
Uh-huh.
And I want it because like a big thing with Pokemon is all about spirit of the game.
Yes.
So if somebody makes a mistake, you should just, like, oh, I attach a second energy. Oh, okay, I can't do that. Like, sorry.
Right.
And like if it happens like multiple times in the same game,
right,
then they're clearly doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Like they're clearly cheating.
Right.
And at that point you can get judges involved and stuff, but there's intentional and then there's unintentional.
Right. Okay.
There's so many ways like I can take this.
Well, take it
because like I don't know exact like rules.
Sure.
As far as this A, B, or C happens
Mm-hmm.
if you do this. I just know that stuff in these manners happen.
Okay.
A lot of, so like right now we have Marnie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost 100% sure somebody has in an official tournament. I'm pretty sure, like, you know, we just had the OCIC. I'm sure at least one person got some form of a penalty because they shuffled their hand into their deck and not shuffled their hand and then put it at the bottom of their deck.
Okay.
As a, like a, you know, like, because that's a mistake that happens, but still it's an irreversible game state at that point because I don't know what you had in your hand.
Right.
So, and it all depends on the level of the event too. So like something like that, like a big giant international championship, you're probably going to get, you know, several prize card loss or game loss, something to that nature.
Okay. That makes sense.
But also people, your opponent can also bait that. You know, they can, you know, play Cynthia Caitlin, you know, discard a card and take out the Marnie and like set it down. And then your opponents, you know, may or may not be paying attention. But like as the player playing the Cynthia Caitlin, you could have just put that in the discard, grabbed that and like slapped it down and then like pointed to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I'm taking the Marnie, and kind of like bait your opponent to almost like putting them at the bottom of their deck. It's pretty scummy.
That sounds super cheap. Like, I don't like the sound of that at all.
Right. So there is ways to do stuff like that. I don't want to like expose things, but you know, when you're shuffling, oh, this is just like such a hard. You're hitting me with like the hard questions. Jeez.
Well, I mean, a couple weeks ago, you asked me about, you know, you're like, bring the tough questions. Stop throwing me the softball. So I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's do this, Adam.
Well, it would have been nice to like prepare a little bit.
Even when I'm giving you time to prepare, you still get all flustered. This makes for a good podcast, man.
It is.
And we can revisit this again. This isn't like the only time we ever have to talk about it. Oh,
yeah. And I mean,
let me present you with this then.
Okay.
We've talked about like mistakes and whatnot. Like, I understand it happens. Like, obviously, like the more official tournaments, you get way less leniency when it comes to making mistakes. You know, like your local tournament that you went to this last weekend or whatever, like you could probably get away with making a mistake and nobody's going to cause too much of a uproar about it. Right. So like my question is, you know, cause there's not, so say like an official tournament, there's not judges watching every single game happening, right?
Correct.
So it's up to the players to kind of call out things as they happen.
Correct.
You know the cards that you have in your hand, in your deck, because you built the deck. You know what all those cards do. You know how to play them and what they do and whatnot. Obviously, the more involved you are with the game, you know the cards that are being played. But like, there has to be circumstances where you see a card that's played and you don't quite know what it does. Is there a time limit? Like, say I play a card and you're like, oh, that's a weird card. What, you know, here, I'll pick one from this deck that I just, Evolution Instance. Search your deck for an evolution Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So I play this. Do I have to read that out loud to you, or do I play it?
No,
and then just
you don't have to. You just play it and do it.
So then is it up to you to like know what that card does or take the time to read it? Like,
yes. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
If you don't know what that card does and you're reading it and your eyes are not focused on what your opponent's doing, your opponent can grab 2 cards.
Right.
Can show. Yeah.
That scares me because like there's so many cards in, you know, in the TCG that could be used. How could you possibly know what they all do?
practice.
I guess that's
Playing multiple, like Obstagoon is like a good example because it's new.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you've got a player that's playing in top cut, and like, you know, if a deck's not ready for it, because it hits for 90 damage for 2 energies, and it says during your opponent's next turn, basic Pokemon can't like hit it.
Right.
If you're not ready for that, and your entire deck is basic Pokemon, and you have no outs to that, you're screwed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that's exactly what happened in a lot of decks.
Yeah.
To get it, you know, to get it to where it was. And then they played Phrygian GX. I've never even read that card.
Right.
And here's this deck that utilizes it perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
You play it down, use the Breeze away, and you take Phrygian back into your hand and a bunch of Obstagoons and Zigzagoons, and then you play them all down again.
Right.
Rinse and repeat. And you do a ton more damage. So it's like, I would never have seen that coming in a million years.
Sure. So, is there like a time, any sort of timer on how long you have to make your move? Like, can you like call a timeout and be like, I want to read that card? Like, I don't understand what's going on. Like, how that whole competitive angle just seems very daunting to a newcomer to the game.
Well, so, I mean, you can take the card and read it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've got, I think it's like a 15-second window there.
Okay.
I think it's 30 seconds. And I think a lot of decks, especially last year, a lot of stall decks, they push the limits, you know. As long as you're doing an action within those, you know, either 15 or 30 seconds, I'm not 100% sure which one it is. As long as you're doing an action, like you're still progressing the game, like you're still making a play.
Right.
So they would, you know, have 4 Jirachis, and they would have the escape boards, you know, and they would use the Jirachi. Look at the top 5, not pick anything. Shuffle their deck.
Mm-hmm.
And each action, you know, takes a couple of seconds. You know,
Sure.
they decide, okay, I don't actually want anything.
Right.
Shuffle it back into my deck. Shuffling takes a couple seconds. Looking at the cards, you've got a little bit of time. And then they would switch. Bring it at the other one. Do it again. Look at their hand. Not pick anything. Shuffle their deck. Hand it to their opponent. Their opponent splits.
Mm-hmm.
And it was to the point where the opponent wasn't even splitting the deck anymore. They're just like, yeah, no, go. Yep, go. No, tap. Because they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, yeah.
And they would basically stall them out so they could win the match that way.
What do you mean win the match that way?
Like when time's called.
Oh, so
there's no clear winner.
Is there there's an official time for a match?
Yes, and I believe it's best of 1 30 minutes, and it's best of 2 45 minutes.
Oh wow! Oh.
At least in Swiss rounds.
Gotcha. So the stall decks are literally stalling to slow down the amount of moves that your opponent is able to. Wow. Okay. That's
Yes. Yep.
That's slippery. Dang. Okay. So there are lots of opportunities to cheat in this game. If one was so
Correct.
inclined to do so, especially if you're a more advanced player playing against a more novice player who's like trying to learn the game or trying to like, you know, I would imagine like I built this deck, right? And I don't even know my own deck as well as I probably should. Like I couldn't even imagine trying to keep track of like what my cards are doing and keeping track of what my opponent and their cards are doing and like trusting that they're doing everything on the up and up. That seems so stressful.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
And there's a new stall deck. Well, it's not a stall deck. It's more of a mill. They basically discard your deck until you have no cards to draw, and then they win that way.
Oh, God.
With a Cinchino mill. Because you use the trade ability, or, well, I don't know. I think it's like make do or something,
right.
And you discard a card and draw 2. And then you just crushing hammer their energies away. and use Bryson Man. It's a tag team supporter that allows you both players discard the top 3 cards, and then you've got Orangaroo for resource management to put 3 cards back on the bottom of your deck or top of your deck in any order or something like that. So it's like, they just get what they need and just keep recycling it and recycling it.
Sure. So as far as cheating is concerned, like you think somebody's cheating, you call it out, like the judge makes a decision whether or not.
Right, and it's like a warning from there, like,
right.
Oh, they clearly, are getting every single card they need. They're either cards are marked or
something's going on.
Like, yeah, something's not right.
Yeah.
It's like every time I turn around, he's got an extra card in his hand type thing.
Right.
And, like, I've seen it in, like, younger divisions where, like, attention span isn't always there.
Sure.
And it's hard as, like, an onlooker, and I'm looking at these kids and, like, one's kind of, like, looking at, to the left or the right and seeing what everybody else is playing, and the kid he's playing is kind of, like, looking at the top card and sets it back down.
Right.
Looks at it again, puts it back down. Or, like, will quickly look at it and put it at the bottom of their deck. And it's like, I've seen that. Sure. And as another player, it's like, do I, call another kid out that's a younger kid? You know what I mean? It's like their parents now are going to yell at me and be mad at me. You know what I mean? It's like, but at the same time, it's like you want the spirit of the game. You want it to be a good game, and you don't want to see, kids get, cheated against. And it's like and I remember this vividly. It's like that same person did that and was like staring at me. Like they knew that I was watching them.
Right.
And they were still doing it. I was like, are you serious? Like, come on.
So because you put like, you give your information for the tournament director and they have your info card, can you get like marked as a cheater? Like, do you get like, can you get like points docked?
Yep.
Can you get banned from tournaments? Like if it gets that?
You can. Yep.
Okay. Does that happen?
Somebody
often?
from my area has had that happen to him.
Oh, wow. Okay. Do you just have to get a new trainer card at that point and start over?
No. No.
Huh. Wow.
But yeah, like in the NCIC, they or the OCIC, the Oceania International Championships. I'm like keep messing it up. One of the top cut opponents in top 8, he apparently handed in a fake phony deck list. It was like 1 Pokemon and 59 energies. And it's like he made it that far, and it's like he may have not, ever switched a deck.
Right.
But are there many occasions where he could have?
Yeah.
Yes. So it was kind of like in top 8, they're just like, yep, no, you win.
Wow.
Like, no, you can't, like, to keep the spirit of the game and the level of like that's like no bueno.
Sure.
But it's like, how did you survive that many rounds without a deck check?
Right.
Like up until round 8, like top 8, like come on.
Are there any magicians that play Pokemon TCG? Like sleight of hand, switching cards around, like I feel like that's
like I said,
people need to
I'm sure it's been done. I'm sure it is being done.
Yeah.
It's just, and that's the thing. Like I hate when people turn their deck sideways, because orientation has you actually have to have your deck orientated to like north and south. Like it has to be up and down.
Sure.
Some players will play them sideways, and that's a Yu-Gi-Oh thing. And if you know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh,
nothing.
It's not always the spirit of the game kind of game. It's more of like
a little more cutthroat.
Yeah.
That sounds like those Yu-Gi-Oh players.
And you can kind of like, oh, I'm going to draw like 5, and you kind of like get those 5 in your hand, but oh my God, there's 6. Uh-oh. And it's like they'll shuffle their hand real quick, and it's like at that point they're like, oh no, I didn't get this one card. And it's like, no, I don't know that you didn't get that one card.
Right.
You shuffled your hand.
Yeah.
And at that point it's like, they're clearly cheating, and it's like hard to say that, it's and then it's up to the judge to decide what the penalty is. But like you said, do they get marked? Yes. Like, so you'll have a warning, and and then again in the Oceania National Championships, there was another player in top 4 who, I'm pretty sure I'm saying this right. There's another player in top 4 who throughout the tournament had a couple of like issues as far as like randomization. So like shuffling.
Okay.
And I guess the judges noticed something in top 4 of him not shuffling properly. And so he got like a 2-card prize loss. And then the person who won, he used the Stinger GX. And the way the ruling works with Stinger is because that resets both players' prizes to 3, means that he only needed to take 1 prize to win the game.
Gotcha.
So it was like a lot of technicality things that helped Nico win. So
crazy. Well, it sounds like a deep subject. Maybe we'll have to revisit it some more. I'll let you think about it, and we'll chat about it again. Maybe not next week, but I feel like there's more stories to be told about the scandals of the Pokemon TCG world.
Yeah, and it's like there's so many different ways.
Yeah.
And it's just like that's why they do deck checks. Because I know in my days, which is way back when, I know that people used to like actually mark their sleeves. They'd know which cards were which because they'd play certain ones that are hollow and certain ones that weren't hollow, and you could see the curvature in the cards because of the hollow ones, which is why most, like good players don't necessarily play the rarest cards. They don't do the flex deck because those cards bend, and the second they start getting those certain cards every single hand, people start asking questions.
Oh, that's why you have to have an entire flex deck, Adam.
Right? But what if they don't make a flex card for that one card?
They have to. Then you're playing the wrong deck.
Then you're playing the wrong deck. Well, Darkrai and Umbreon doesn't have another art. I mean, I know that there's supposed to be a special box coming out with like a full art version. Mm-hmm. But again, that's from like a special box. So it's like it's already got the curve to it.
Right. I don't know what to tell you. Well, have you ever cheated, Adam?
No.
Intentionally?
Intentionally, no.
Accidentally?
Unintentionally, yes.
Sure.
Like I've attached a second energy before. Didn't realize it till a couple turns later, but it's like immediately like, hey, judge, I just realized this. Like I've even called myself out.
Yeah. Which is the right thing to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And it is hard because it's if there's no if it's not reversible as a game state, then like penalties have to occur.
Sure.
And that goes for like there was a Battle Roads tournament, okay? Which is like a league challenge way back when.
Okay.
I went to the tournament, and you shuffle your deck, you grab your hand, you look for a basic, play it down. What do you do after that? You put out your prize cards. Now, it's not only my job to remember to put out my prize cards, it's your job as my opponent as well.
Okay.
So, if I didn't, and I use, a search card, I use an evolutionary incense. I go search my deck for an evolution, boom, got it in my hand, shuffle my deck, put it down. It's your turn. Now, because it's your turn, I've already looked through my deck. I've picked up a card. It's now in my hand. There was no prize cards put out. I get either like prize losses or game losses because I've already gone through my deck. The judges can't reverse an extra card being added to my hand because they don't know which card was or was not in my hand. Type deal.
Sure.
Like, even though like I searched my deck for that Pokemon, I could have had 2 in there. So and that happened to me, I think 4 out of the 6 games. And by the last game, I was like, are you serious? And it's like, but my opponents were getting penalties too, because they weren't reminding me.
Okay.
Like, yes, it's my fault, but at the same token, spirit of the game, you're supposed to be like, hey, don't forget your prizes. And I don't know if I've ever forgotten my prizes after that. I don't think so, because it was like
Sure.
It was so heartbreaking.
Yeah, learned a lesson.
Yeah. But yeah, that's happened before.
Cool. Well, this is a fascinating topic, and I think we need to chat about it again in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. We'll put a pin in it.
Yep, definitely.
All right, guys. And just a little housekeeping real quick before we keep going. This podcast is powered by Patreon. You can check ours out at patreon.com/PokemonProfessor, where you can support this show for as little as $1 a month. That $1 will get you access to our patron-exclusive Discord, which is a fantastic place filled with fantastic people. And I want to give a huge, very special thanks to our executive producer, Adrian Briones. Appreciate you so much. And if Patreon isn't your thing, there are a few other ways you can help us out. If you're listening to us on YouTube, you can subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and if you're listening via a podcast service like Apple Podcasts or Stitcher, you can take a moment to leave us a review. We would greatly appreciate it.
Yes, we would.
Woo! All right. And now, Card of the Week, which literally is Card of the Week.
Card of the Week.
Card of the Week. Get it while it's hot. Dangerous Drill.
Oh, boy.
And I know we talked about it in the beginning of the show. We're going to talk about it again.
Let's do it.
Now, visually, the secret rare is beautiful. It's very sparkly.
You know, I like the
it's
sparkles.
Like it's a shiny drill.
Beautiful. The only kind of drills I like, Adam.
Right?
Yeah.
It's sparkly. Now, this thing is a very versatile card in a dark deck. It says you can only play this card if you discard a dark Pokemon.
Okay.
And it allows you to discard a tool, a special energy card, or a stadium.
Okay.
In my opinion, that is pretty broken, especially in a format where stadiums are huge.
Yes.
Tools are becoming increasingly popular with Stealthy Hood to stop like Fion's Whirlpool Suction, which, hey, who called it? I did. Pretty much every deck had that card in it. Not every deck, but most of them, because they were trying to get, movement on the board. And honestly, that was one of the ways that they were able to take down the Obstagoon deck, is to get that out of there. So, because once you put the Obstagoon to the bench, it nullifies the effect.
Okay.
Effectively. But this card is brutal.
Are many people starting to go this route that you've seen?
No.
Not yet.
No. I think I surprised everyone when I was playing not only one, but I was playing 2 of these.
How did you come across using this card again?
I was playing that's the thing. I'm playing the dark deck, and I said, what do I need to be able to compete with the speed and the strength of Mewtwo and the Zacian ADP?
Gotcha.
Zacian ADP uses special energies, tools. I was like, that's a solid way, because they're getting rid of the water energies now and throwing in the Aurora energies. now that I'm saying this out loud, I'm sure people, play one basic water and like 3 auroras just because. And this gets rid of weakness policy, or not weakness. I'm thinking old cards. This gets rid of Stealthy Hood or a weakness guard energy attached to Mewtwo. So my Darkrai can one-shot it with its Dark Moon GX attack, or my Mewtwo can one-shot it because it's weak to Psychic, doing the 150 with the Dark Lance, and be able to just like stay on top. And it comes out of nowhere. But I'd say every time that I've had this in my hand, I was able to use it almost immediately.
It's a sweet card.
And I got questioned as to, oh man, why would you play that? Like, why would you play why would you play a heavy Weavile line? And it's like, first off, Weavile is like the main card in the deck.
Right.
If you can't move around energies, your deck's kind of slow and kind of useless.
Sure.
So to be able to, like, I run a 4-3 line because I'm not messing around, and I run the 2 Darkrai's. So every single match, it's like I basically use the Dark Moon GX almost immediately. Like, I went second, Dark Moon GX, stop them from playing supporters for 2 turns. And then also the Sneasel works if I go second, I can discard an energy attached to my opponent's active Pokemon if this is my first turn and if I go second. Having those 2 options are so strong, especially in this format right now. Being able to like manipulate the board as far as energy goes, and to just stop them from playing supporters for 2 turns in a row.
Right.
So I will stand by this card, I will stand by Sneasels, and I will stand by Darkrai.
It sounds like a sweet deck, man.
Yeah, I'm falling in love with it again.
Yeah.
It's just so versatile, and I can do so much with it.
Yeah.
And like, I just took out Ditto because I'm like, I already run a pretty heavy, or like a 3-2 Silvally line, the GX. So I'm like, I already play a heavy Silvally line. I don't technically need the Ditto. Like, yes, it's nice to be able to evolve it, but there's so many cards that, like, it's almost a liability. So I switch it out for an Absol, because Absol saves me again in the, basically in both of those matchups, my 2 hardest matchups. The Absol would be like clutch, because it basically makes it so if they have the escape board, they can't retreat. They have to attach an energy in order to retreat. So they're wasting their energy attachment for the turn. Or they need a switch. They have to find a switch or a Mallow and Lana.
Right.
So it's kind of like, it forces your hand. And then, you get to maneuver that. Like, cool. Like, I just don't know why I didn't see it sooner. And like, yes, I don't have infinite bench space, but these are all crazy techs, and all this stuff kind of worked together, and I had a blast playing it all. So the only thing I changed was my Ditto for my Absol, and I like the whole thing so far. So
cool.
Dangerous Drill. It's a dangerous card.
Go check it out, folks.
Go check it out. I mean, you have to be playing a dark deck, so get your Weaviles while they're icy hot.
Icy hot Weaviles.
Well, because they're hot,
Sure. But
and they're an ice type Pokemon.
And they're dark and brooding. It's the whole thing.
All right. Before we close out the show, we've got an email.
Yes.
This is coming from Pidgey Grabba.
What's up, Pidgey?
It starts out concerning women in gaming.
Okay.
It is easier for someone to post something rude or belittling about another person playing a game on the internet than it would be to have a face-to-face interaction at a trading card game event. I think if we remember that a woman is a person, a man is a person, a child is a person, and deserves our respect. A male can outplay a female. That doesn't mean he is superior or every man is superior than every female. A man should coach a female like any other person if the conversation is welcomed by both parties and spoken as equals. Even though he just beat her, for example. I think we need to steer away from the nice try, sweetheart, if a female loses, or if a female is pretty/attractive or whatever. She knows that she's, good looking without anyone telling her. And chances are she doesn't look like that for you. She can look however she wants to be confident and comfortable in any setting.
Darn right.
Expand the player base. All are welcome in my book. Pidgey Grabba.
Yeah.
Rant over.
Well said.
Well said. Thanks, Pidgey Grabba. Yeah, we touched on this last week, and
how about just treat people like people?
Yeah.
Just
plain and simple.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just want to see more. And that's my first match was a girl. I didn't treat her any different. Right. I was like, do you want to play some more matches? I wanted to see her deck more because my cards, I just drew exactly what I needed and she drew not what she needed. So I just wanted her to give, I wanted to actually give her a chance to show me what she had,
right.
And that's.
Well, and that's all I wanted. That's how she learns, right. And
I even said, I was like, one of the last moves was even though my board was set up, I was like, you could have, brought out your Oddish and tried to paralyze me.
Right.
And I was like, and then at that point, I can't do anything. Right. I'm stuck in the active and you have one more turn to, try to draw into something new. And she was like, what? That's crazy. And didn't see that play, but here I am helping out,
And here's the thing. This is going to sound totally crazy, but if she was a guy, you could have had...
I would have done the same thing.
Exact same conversation. Nothing changes.
Nothing changes.
Wow, weird. Right. A person that...
And it was even funny. Interest. I was like, I'm familiar with this deck. My son plays this deck. Again, same conversation if it was a guy.
Right. You didn't go the route of oh, look at this girl playing the same kind of deck my little son plays.
Exactly.
Yeah. Just another competitor. That's all it was, and that's freaking awesome. So
right, and honestly, that was the universe, because I had such an easy win, and it would just. I was like, the universe was like, no way, man. We're going to give you the next 2 toughest matches that you've had in such a long time to the point where you're going to be shaking.
Yeah.
So don't think we went easy on you.
Yeah. So thanks, Pidgey Grabba, for the email.
Yeah. We appreciate them, as always. All right, guys.
That's a show, Adam.
I think that's a show. Yeah. That's a show.
We knocked it out of the park this week.
Yeah, we may have knocked it out of the park. All right. And just if you want to reach us, just like Pidgey Grabba did, send us an email at specialconditionstcg@gmail.com. You can leave us a voicemail. You can text us. You can send us a picture of your deck. 732-835-8639. Josh, you got anything else?
No, man, that's it.
All right, guys. And remember, if you're affected by a special condition, don't forget to use a full heal.
Good night.